Good morning and welcome to GrainTV. Today is November 1st. My name is Cody Bills. This is Brock Shimano, and today we're going to have some fireworks in the markets. Stocks tumbled this morning across the EU upon the announcement that George Papandreou is going to have a referendum. This is terribly unexpected. This will slow the deal that we saw established last Thursday. This could even kill the deal that rallied the markets just 3 sessions ago. Not only that, but we had some ugly factory data out of Asia in some of their key producing regions. This is really solidifying the concerns that the EU debt crisis is putting a lot of pressure on the global economy. Brock, the markets have opened. What are you seeing?
Yeah, basically we're seeing a continued trend from the overnight. In the overnight, we were down 13 on corn, down 21 on soy, and wheat was down 9 to 11. We're seeing that continue this morning. Corn is down about 12, soybeans down about 23 right now, and depending on which wheat you're looking at, down 10 to 12. So we're looking at a pretty weak open on the market. Some of the things that we have been looking at is these debt issues going on in Europe and how that has affected places over here in the United States.
Yeah, this whole summer and fall, we've really been focusing on the outside markets, but it's such a huge issue, and we saw that unfold on Monday when the European sovereign debt crisis is actually now affecting players in our industry in the agricultural commodities. MF Global filed for bankruptcy. Their publicly traded shares were halted, and the Fed is suspending doing business with them. Brock, how is this going to affect producers?
Yeah, this is going to affect producers directly, in the near term for sure. Basically, any producers that do have accounts with MF Global, their accounts can only liquidate positions at this point. They're not going to be able to add positions as trading has been halted for all of MF Global brokers and any firms associated with them, other than liquidation positions. Another thing that might be affecting them is that there is talk of some commingling of the customer funds. The SEC and the CFTC have delved into some of the accounting practices over there at MF Global, and it's raising a lot of issues right now. And we don't really know when this is all going to shake out, but as of right now, their customer funds are being held, and that's going to be released at a future date. We don't really know. As far as down on the floor, about 30 to 40% of the floor traders are actually associated with MF Global. So that's going to affect the liquidity down there and the volume overall, as 33 firms are also associated. So there's a lot of issues going on with volume, liquidity, and then also getting these customers the services that they need.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern. We'll have to see how this unfolds in the next throughout this trading session. I know we're going to be watching corn closely. It looks pretty technically weak right now. It's been trading in a range around 650, and I'm worried that considering the strong dollar, the strong currency that we've been seeing, considering the fact that we are technically really not in a very good spot, considering the fact that there's weak outside markets. We saw oil down huge today. I'm concerned that corn could really start to come off here. That's something that you're going to want to keep a close watch on. And if you have funds in a MF Global account and you feel handcuffed right now, I would encourage you, don't be flat-footed here. Take the steps necessary to gain access to the market tools to help you protect your crop and hedge some of that price risk that you have available. We'd be happy to give you a call. We're not saying sever the relationships with the brokers. This is not the broker's fault. It's unfortunate that a lot of good brokers are being caught up in this. We're just saying, you got to be nimble here. Take the necessary steps, and we'd be happy to help you out navigating those waters in the short term. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more about the currency. Welcome back to GrainTV. You know, just a couple days ago, Brock, we were talking about the dollar coming off and this helping grains. Now we're talking about the dollar gaining strength and this putting pressure, downward pressure on grains. What are you seeing here in the currency markets?
Yeah, basically we've seen the dollar in the last two sessions go from about 75 area to about the 78 area. Most of this is due to the two largest components of the dollar index actually increasing quite a bit, or excuse me, the euro has decreased, and as has the yen. So we're seeing those actually come off pretty sharply, adding strength to that dollar index. The euro is actually traded from about 1.42 euros to the dollar down to 1.36 euros to the dollar, and a lot of that's as a result of what you were saying earlier, Cody, about some of those debt issues coming out of the eurozone right now. If you take a look at this chart right here, what we're looking at is a 2-day tumble basically from those 142 level down to about the 136 level there.
Yeah, and in the yen, I think right now the big concern here is that the dollar and the basket of currencies that it is traded against is actually showing relative strength. Now we have our own debt problems, of course, and we'll probably start focusing on them when we look at the Super Committee in November. Of course, the focus will probably shift back to the U.S. and we may see a little pressure there. But I think in general, right now the trend is really for dollar strength. Why? Because the Eurozone is really weak right now. They have been, their economy has been hurt by the debt crisis. I think that this is going to put them in a position to have to lower rates to try and stimulate the economy. We know out of Japan that the yen is going to be held at a low rate relative to the dollar. This is all very negative for grain exports, and I'm concerned that we're going to see exports, which are already lagging behind pace, continue to see pressure going forward this marketing year. I'm very concerned here.
Yeah, basically saw the Japanese finance minister come out and say that they're going to try to peg their yen at 78 to $1 higher. So, we're looking at that as pretty negative for our exports going into Japan. That is one of the largest importers of our grain. So, if their dollars or their yen is weakening and strengthening our dollar, it's going to be tough for them to actually import those grains. The intervention actually consisted of them selling about 7.7 trillion yen, which equates to about $99 billion worth of yen.
Wow. So that's pretty significant. Before we sign off here, I do want to just go over what is harvest progress looking like. I know we reported a little bit on our blog last night before we left the office. What are you seeing?
We're a little bit ahead of our usual 5-year pace. We're at about 78% complete on corn. I think beans came in at about 87% complete. So we're a little bit ahead of our 5-year paces, behind last year. But looks like we're going to be wrapping that up here in the next 7 to 10 days.
Do you think the trade's going to focus on that at all, or are people just concerned with the bigger issues right now?
Yeah, I think right now there's some bigger issues out there that need to be addressed before we can really start focusing on the end of harvest here.
That sounds fair enough. Well, hey, give us a call, 877-GRAIN07. Follow us on Twitter or Facebook. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Until next time, have a good day.